I would like to read the 10 offenses to the holy name, which are to avoid, written by Srila Vyasadeva in the Padma Purana. Number 1, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. Number 2, to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. 3, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. 4, to blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scripture in pursuance to the Vedic version. 5, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination. 6, to give some interpretation to the holy name of the Lord. 7, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. 8, to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritual activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, Karma Kanda. 9, to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. 10, to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachment even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to achieve the desired success, Krishna Prema. Once again, I thank everyone for joining the Bhakti Sangha conference call today. Let us move to our next session, which is Srimad Bhagavatam. May I know who all have joined the call this morning?
Hare Krishna Vardhana Mataji, Dandvat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai, Preeti Dasi from Charlotte. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Preeti Mataji, Dandvat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances to you and respectful assembled Zoom devotees. I am Chalana Lakshmi from Malaysia. Thank you very much. And Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Lakshmi Mataji, Dandvat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. And thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vardhana Mataji. This is Kamaliti Dasi from Baltimore. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, and all the devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Kamaditi Mataji, Dandvat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Vinita Gandharvita Mataji, Dandvat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam, all glories to Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, all glories to assembled devotee. This is Mohini Lakshmi from Detroit.
Hare Krishna Mohini Lakshmi Mataji, Dandvat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Vardhana Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. And Guru Maharaj is my humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devidasi from Rani.
Hare Krishna Krishna Kumari Mataji, Dandvat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Neetu from Baltimore.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Vardhana Mataji, Dandvat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Shama Guru Devidasi from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna Shama Gauri Mataji, Dandvat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Is anybody else would like to introduce themselves?
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all glories to the assembled devotees on the call. Vasundhara Devi Dasi from Bangalore, India. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Vasundhara Mataji, Dandvat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, my Dandavat Pranam to you and to all the devotees of this divine group. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Pooja Arora from Haridwar. Happy Akshaya Tritiya to all the respected devotees. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Puja Arara Mataji Dandvat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna. Happy Akshaya Tritiya, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Vardhana Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Anita Ramya from Sharjah.
Hare Krishna Anita Mataji Dandvat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna. Can we continue our chanting, Mataji? Prabhuji is not joined yet.
Yes, Mataji, we can do that.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. No,
Hare
Prabhuji joined, Mataji.
Oh. Can we start recording, Mataji?
Yes, yes, Mataji.
Welcoming all of you to the Bhakti Sangha conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Radhika Vallabha Prabhuji. Prabhuji is going to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, 12th chapter, verses 23 to 26. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavats Pranam, all goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving your valuable time and association to us this morning and enlightening on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. I'll hand out the call to you, Prabhu.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshvabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatir Uttamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namavom Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 12, entitled Vritrasur's Glorious Death. Text number 23 onwards. Shri Shuka Uvacha Iti Bruvana Vanyonyam Dharma Jignasaya Nripa Yudate Mahaviryau Indra Vritrau Yudampati. Shukdev Goswami said, to a translation. Sri Shuka Uvacha. Sri Shukadeva Goswami said, Iti tas. Just go little. Iti tas. Bruvanav speaking. Anyonyam to one another. Dharma Jignasaya. With a desire to know the supreme, ultimate religious principle. Devotional service. Nripa, O king. Yuyudate fought. Mahaviryav, both very powerful. Indra, King Indra. Vritrau and Vritrasur. Yudampati, both great military commanders. Translation. Sri Shukadeva Goswami said, Vritrasur and King Indra spoke about devotional service even on the battlefield. And then as a matter of duty, they again began fighting. My dear king, both of them were great fighters and were equally powerful. Avidya Padigam Vritra Karshnaya Samarindamaha Indraya Prahinodghoram Vamahastena Marisha. O Maharaj Parikshit, Vritrasur, who was completely able to subdue his enemy, took his iron club, whirled it around, aimed it at Indra, and then threw it at him with his left hand. Satu Vritrasya Parigam Karam Chakkarabopamam Chicheda Yugapadhevo Vajrena Shataparvana. With his thunderbolt named Shataparvan, Indra simultaneously cut to pieces Vritrasur's club and his remaining hand. Next verse. Torbhyam utkritta mulabhyam bhabau raktasravo suraha chinna paksho yatha gotra kadbrashto vajrina hataha. Vritrasur, bleeding profusely, his two arms cut off at the roots, looked very beautiful, like a flying mountain whose wings have been cut to pieces by Indra. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. It appears from the statement of this verse that sometimes there are flying mountains and that their wings are cut by the thunderbolt of Indra. Vritrasur's huge body resembled such a mountain. Hare Krishna. So today we are discussing this canto, chapter 12, Vritrasur's glorious death. Last several weeks and months, we have been discussing the story of Vritrasur. So I will go through the verses more closely. Sri Shuka Uvacha, Sri Shukadeva Goswami said, Iti bruvana vanyonyam dharma jignasaya nripa. Yuyudate mahaviryav indra vritrau yudampati. So Shukadeva Goswami is addressing Parishit Maharaj by the word nripa. Nripa is used in the Sambodhana Vibhakti. O king. Hey Rajan, hey Nripa. So in this verse, the verb is the yuyudate. Yuyudate means fought. So yuyudate is used in the dual because it is verb can be used in the singular or plural or in the dual. Many languages, the dual is not there. In Sanskrit, there is also singular, dual, and plural. So Yuyudate is used in the dual sense because Indra and Vritrasur both are fighting. So both fought. So what is the subject over here? Mahaviryav. Indra Vritrau is the subject. Indra and Vritrasur, they fought. And then, are there any adjectives for the word Indra Vritrau? What kind of Indra Vritrau? One adjective is Mahaviryav. Mahaviryav, that means to have great power. Have great power. Prabhupada in his word-to-word translation, he has translated as Mahaviryav, means both very powerful. And another adjective for Indra Vritrau is Yudampati. Yudampati means they were expert in fighting. They were actually very expert in fighting. They Sreshta, like that the word meaning is given. They were expert in fighting. Yudampati, Mahaviryav especially refers to great power. And then, so just before, when they started fighting, in the last previous verses, Vritrasur was instructing Indra about the Nishkama Karma Yoga, about the Bhagavata Dharma. And Indra was also appreciating Vritrasur's good instruction. So Indra and Vritrasur, they were actually discussing about the Bhagavata Dharma. So Dharma Jignasaya iti Bruvanau Anyonyam. Anyonyam means Parasparam. With they were actually discussing about Dharma Jignasaya. So here Dharma specifically refers to the Bhagavata Dharma. That is why Prabhupada has translated as Dharma Jignasa, the desire to know the supreme ultimate religious principle. So they were discussing about the devotional service, Bhagavata Dharma. Among each other, Anyonyam. Iti Bruvanav Anyonyam. So these two, Indra and Vritrasur, who are actually speaking about the Bhagavata Dharma, the desire to understand Bhagavata Dharma. Jignasaya means what? Jnatum Ichaya. Jnatum Ichaya, that means with a desire to understand, with a desire to know the Dharma, with a desire to know the Bhagavata Dharma. So with that desire, they were discussing, and now they started fighting. And then they began fighting. So Mahaviryav, Yudampati. So the subject and the verb should be matching. If the subject is in the singular, the verb is also in the singular. So here the verb is in the dual, Yuyudate. So therefore Mahaviryav, Indra Vritrau, Yudampati. So all these three words denote the subject, they are also in the dual. So Vritrasur and Indra, the great fighters, Mahaviryav, with a great power, Yudampati, Mahaviryav, speaking with a desire to understand Dharma, they began fighting. And then in the next verse, Shukdev Goswami is addressing Parishit Maharaj by the word Marisha. Marisha means a respectable one. A respectable one. The Marisha is used in the Sambodhana Vibhakti. So here he says that at this point, so in this shloka, the verb is the prahinot. Prahinot means what? Prahinot means throwing through the club, or he threw. So who threw it? Vritraha. Vritrasur threw it. What kind of Vritra? Arindamaha. One who is able to subdue his enemy. Ari means the enemy, Damana means the subduing. Arindamaha means one who has the ability to subdue the enemy. That Vritrasur, Prahinot, he threw. What did he throw? He threw the Parigam. Parigam means the weapon. It refers to the club. He took the club. He threw the club. And what is this club made of? Karshnayasam. Karshnayasam means this club was made of the iron. Karshnayasam. A club which is made of iron. And What else is said about the club? Goram Parigam. Goram Parigam means very fierce looking club. Or Goram, very fearful club, which is made of the iron. Goram Parigam. And Vritrasur's one hand was already cut off by Indra. So therefore, Vritrasur used his left hand, Vama Hastena. With his left hand, he threw the fearful club, which is made of the iron. And before throwing, what did he do? Avidya. Avidya means whirling around the club. He whirled it around, and then he threw at whom? Indraya. He threw the club at the Indra. So, Marisha, Arindamaha Vritraha Vamahastena Goram Karshnaya Sam Parigam Avidya Indraya Prahinot. So this is the Anvaya of the shloka. Anvaya is basically rearranging the shloka in the prose format. And then the next shloka, Shukdev Goswami says that Satu Vritrasya Parigam Karamcha Karavopamam Chicheda Yugapat Devo Vajrena Shataparvana. When Vritrasur threw the club with his left hand, what was the response of Indra? That is described in this verse. So Chicheda is the verb. Chicheda means cutting. Indra cut to pieces. Who cut it? Devaha. Devaha refers to Indra. So Satu Vritrasya Parigam. So Satu Vritrasya Parigam. So what did Vritrasya Parigam? Cha Karabopamam Karamam Shataparvana Vajrena Yugapat Chicheda. So the Indra, he cut the Vritrasya Parigam, the club which belonged to Vritra. Not only he cut the club of Vritrasur, but Karabopamam. He also cut the Karabopamam Karam. He also cut the hand of Vritrasur. So one hand was already cut off. Now the left hand was remaining. So Karam refers to the hand. And what kind of hand? Karabopamam Karam. That means Vritrasur's hand was like the trunk of an elephant. Karaba refers to the trunk of the elephant. Some of the acharyas, they mentioned in the Vyakya, especially that refers to the trunk of the elephants which are protecting the directions of the universe. The universe is protected by certain Diggajas who are present in the different corners. That is described in the 5th canto. The trunk of such elephants, so Vritrasur's hand was like that. So Indra cut off the club thrown by Vritrasur and the remaining hand of Vritrasur, which is Vajra. Vajrena. What kind of Vajra? Shataparvana. So Indra's Vajrayudha had 100 spokes actually. It had 100 spokes. So Vajra, which is made of 100 spokes. And Yugapat Chicheda, simultaneously he cut off. Simultaneously he cut off the hand as well as the club thrown by Vritrasur. Because suppose if the Indra had aimed the Vajrayudha at the hand of Vritrasur, maybe the club would have come and hit Indra. No, but Indra was so expert that he simultaneously cut off the club thrown by Vritrasur as well as the hand of Vritrasur. Yugapat Chicheda. So at that time, and now Vritrasur, both his arms are cut off. The 26th verse gives a description of the palm of Vritrasur when his 2 arms are cut off. Dorbhyam Utkritta Moolabhyam Babau Raktasravo Suraha Chinna Paksho Yata Gotra Thadbrashto Vajrina Hataha. So Utkritta Mulabhyam. Utkritta Mulabhyam means his two hands are cut off from the root actually. Utkritta Mulabhyam Durbhyam. Cut off from the root. So because of that, blood was pouring out from Vritrasur's that part of the body. Sravaha Raktasuraha. Blood was actually flowing. Sravaha Raktasuraha. Because of the Vajrina Hataka, because of being defeated, because of being cut off by the Vajra weapon. So now Vritrasur looked like a mountain. Gotraha means a mountain. What kind of a mountain? Chinna Pakshaha. Previously, mountains used to have wings actually. Mountains would be able to fly from one place to another place. But Indra cut off the wings of all the mountains. So Chinna Pakshaha Kat Brashtaha. Ka refers to Akasha, sky. Brashtaha means fallen from the sky. So when previously when Indra cut off the wings of the mountain, Paksha means the wings. So Chinna Pakshaha Kat Brashtaha Gotraha Yata Bhavo. When the mountain's wings were cut off and the mountain fell from the sky, So Indra, Vritrasur, now when his two arms were cut off, Vritrasur appeared like the mountain whose wings are cut off and which fell from the sky to the ground. So Baba, in that way, actually Vritrasur's description is given. So this is a very beautiful episode in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So I'll discuss something related to the story. So we see one of the speciality of this episode is that in the battlefield, Vritrasur is discussing about the principles of Dharma, principles of the Bhagavata Dharma to Indra. Normally, we see that suppose it is said that one of the fear of the people is that to give a public speech. It is said that the human mind stops working till a person goes to give a public speech. There's a quote. So usually people are afraid of giving a public speech, and then even when they have to give a public speech, it has to be told beforehand, the time, the day, the topic should be told, and then the people speak. But here in the Srimad Bhagavatam, we have different episodes where we see that people spoke about the principles of Dharma at a most difficult situations without any prior notice. For example, when we see Bhishma Dev instructing Yudhishthira Maharaj. Bhishma Dev was instructing Yudhishthira Maharaj on the different principles of Varnashram Dharma and Bhagavata Dharma when he was laying on the deathbed, when each and every inch of his body was pierced by the arrows. So in such an uncomfortable situation, he had such a clarity of mind and he could speak about all the principles of Dharma. Vasudev was speaking to Kamsa when in front of his eyes, when his newly-wed wife is about to be killed. Kamsa is such a cruel personality, and Kamsa is having a sword in his hand and is about to kill Devaki. At that time, Vasudev is speaking about the difference between body and soul, and he is speaking about the principles of karma. and he's speaking about Sama, Dama, Danda, Beda, he's using all these techniques. And Vasudev, in such a, he also is thinking of different analogies also. Usually to think of some analogy, it needs some creativity. Such creativity comes when a person is in a peaceful state of mind. But Vasudev is speaking philosophy and he is speaking analogies when his wife is about to be killed just after the marriage. So that shows actually how Vasudev, what kind of a character Vasudev is. He didn't have to be told before what to speak. And here Vritrasur is speaking to Indra, and Vritrasur is his own people actually flew from the battle. Vritrasur. Sometimes when the followers actually leave the leader, the followers, at that time the leader can become depressed. When the leader is identifying himself with the followers, and the followers are leaving, and the leader can lose the enthusiasm. But Vritrasur does not lose enthusiasm. He speaks about the principles of Dharma and that too in the battlefield. So usually in battlefield, the Rajoguna is very prominent. But to speak the philosophy, the right philosophy, you need a clarity of mind. For that, you have to be in Sattva Guna. But here, Vritrasur, he spoke so clearly about the Nishkama Karma Yoga. He offered such profound devotional prayers in the battlefield. And Vritrasur is inspiring the opposite party to fight against him, to kill him. So Vasudev had to speak to Kamsa in order to somehow stop Kamsa from killing Devaki. And Vritrasur is speaking to Indra in order to make Indra fight with enthusiasm and kill him. And Bhishma Dev was speaking to Yudhishthira Maharaj in order to remove the despondency of Yudhishthira Maharaj and encourage him to take up the responsibility of being the king. So we see the scriptures, such a discussion on the principles of Dharma, they take place in such unique situations. The speakers, unless a person has internalized the principles of Dharma, one cannot speak in such a difficult situations. It is easy to speak something when you are told beforehand, when the situation is comfortable, but in such a difficult, unpredictable situations, dangerous situations, to have a clarity of mind and to speak the principles of Dharma, it requires it shows that those people have internalized the principles of Dharma. And when we will discuss something about the Devatas. So in this story of Vritrasur, the Devatas headed by Indra, they dealt with the 4 personalities: Brihaspati, and then Vishwarupa, and then Dadichi Muni, and then with Vritrasur. With Brihaspati, Indra neglected to offer respect to Brihaspati because he was proud of his opulences and everyone was glorifying him, and then he neglected to offer respect to Brihaspati. That is how the whole story begins. And then when the Devatas lost all their opulences on the advice of Brahma, Indra accepted Vishwarupa as a priest. So in that sense, although Vishwarupa is in the position of the nephew of the Devatas, they accepted Vishwarupa as a priest. So that means they accepted him in the position of a guru. But when we accept a guru, we are supposed to completely, fully trust the guru. One should not be suspicious of the guru. One should not be spying over the guru. And one should go to a guru for the spiritual purpose, not for the material purpose. Tasmad gurum prapadyeta jigyashu shreya uttamam shabde parecha nishnatam brahman yupasamashrayam. So jigyashu shreya uttamam. Shreya uttamam means one should approach a guru for a shreya, means the ultimate shreya. So before this verse in the Bhagavatam 11th canto, the Navayogendras, they talked about the futility of the earthly sense gratification and the heavenly sense gratification. After describing that, the Navayogendras are saying that Tasmad Gurum Prapadyeta Jigyashu Shreya. That means one should approach a spiritual master after understanding the futility of the sense gratification both in this world and the higher worlds. But the Devatas headed by Indra, they accepted Vishwarupa as the guru for regaining their opulences, for attaining their, in one sense, for the sense gratification. Although it's also meant for the service, because it's the service to perform their duty as the Devatas. The motive of service was there, but at the same time, the motive of service was mixed with the desire to enjoy the opulences of heaven. So therefore, because they approached Vishwarupa with that motivation, and therefore they were also spying on Vishwarupa. They were not able to completely trust Vishwarupa, because Vishwarupa was a very impartial person. But without understanding Vishwarupa properly, and when Indra saw that Vishwarupa is offering oblations also on behalf of the demons, so at least he should have first inquired, he should have clarified with Vishwarupa. Oftentimes what happens that when you suspect that somebody is deviating, people, without inquiring, without giving a benefit of doubt, one immediately takes an action. But whereas the Brahminical way of doing is that first to give a benefit of doubt, first have an open dialogue with the person. For example, in the story of Anga Maharaj and Vena. So Vena clearly deviated from the principles of Dharma. He stopped all the yajnas, all the pious activities, all the charity, etc. So there was no ambiguity in the fact that whether he deviated or not. But even then, the Brahmanas, they were so angry with Vena, but they first decided to have a dialogue with Vena, and then once when the dialogue failed, then they took an action. But here Indra, he should have first had a dialogue with Vishwarupa and clarified with him. But without that, he immediately actually killed Vishwarupa. So in this way, the first guru, Brihaspati, they neglected because of being proud of the material opulence. In the case of Vishwarupa, because of maintaining the material attachments, and Indra came into the fit of anger because of his attachment to material opulences. He cut off the head of Vishwarupa. And then the third personality, the third Brahmana, whom they actually encountered was Dadichi Muni. In the case of Dadichi Muni, in fact, in the 6th canto, 9th chapter, the Devatas offered such profound prayers. Such profound prayers they offered to Lord Vishnu. In fact, it is said there, the prayers offered by Indra and the Devatas, they had such profound transcendental knowledge. Vishnu said that, Pritoham va surasreshta mat upasthana vidyaya atmaishwarya smriti pumsam bhaktis chaiva yayamayi. O best of the Devatas, I am pleased with the knowledge contained in your prayers, by which men can remember my glories and develop bhakti to me. So Devatas, they offered prayers which talked about pure devotional service, which talked about the glories of the Supreme Lord. So by repeating the prayers of the Devatas, one can develop bhakti for Vishnu. But although they offered such profound prayers which were appreciated by Vishnu, but the Devatas, they maintained their material desire. So sometimes a person may have knowledge, but although one may have knowledge, one may still have material desires. This was the case with Brihaspati as well as with Indra. In the 8th canto of the Bhagavatam, when the Samudra Manthan episode, when Lakshmi Devi came out, Lakshmi Devi was examining the different personalities present over there for selecting a suitable husband. And she is rejecting different personalities for different reasons. One of the category of the personality she rejects is that Jnanam Kvachit Tachana Sangha Varjitam. There are some people here who are knowledgeable, but they are not freed from material attachments. When she is mentioning this, she is remembering personalities like Shukracharya and Brihaspati. Brihaspati is highly knowledgeable, but he is not freed from material attachment. So that is why Brihaspati, even though Indra immediately realized his mistake after neglecting Brihaspati, immediately repented his mistake, but still Brihaspati, because he had the attachment to being respected, he did not give an opportunity for Indra to beg forgiveness. So Brihaspati also, although he had knowledge, but he is not free from material attachment. And here the Devatas, they offer profound to Vishnu, which contained such profound transcendental knowledge by which people can develop bhakti to Vishnu, but still they had maintained their material desires. Therefore, Lord said, Kim durapam mayi prite tathapi vibudarshaba mai ekanta matir nanyam matto vanchati tattvavit. So, although nothing is difficult for one to obtain when I am pleased with him, a pure devotee whose mind is exclusively fixed upon me does not ask me for anything except the opportunity to engage in bhakti. And then he said that, but the misers, they do not know the ultimate necessity of the soul. And therefore, they only ask for material goals from me. And so then when Vishnu saw that the Devatas were actually, they were determined to fulfill their material desires, Vishnu desired to fulfill their desires. Magavan Yata Badrambo Dadyancham Rishi Sattamam Vidya Vrata Tapassaram Gatram Yachata Machiram. So Vishnu said that you please approach Dadichi Muni without delay and ask him for his body, which is strong because of knowledge, vows, and austerities. So, on the advice of Vishnu, Indra approached Dadichi Muni and asked for his body. So, Indra failed to show respect to Brihaspati. So, for a honored person, disrespect is worse than death. In that sense, in one sense, Indra disrespected Brihaspati or neglected to show respect. That is also like because disrespect is worse than death. It is also like worse than death only. So one spiritual master, one Brahmana, also they killed by disrespecting or failing to show respect. Another Brahmana, Vishwarupa, Indra actually killed. On the third Brahmana, Dadichi Muni, Indra is actually begging Dadichi Muni to voluntarily die, to voluntarily give up his body. under advice of Vishnu. So here, if we see, and then now the fourth personality, Vritrasur, in fighting with Vritrasur, Indra actually loses the enthusiasm to fight. And then Vritrasur is instructing Indra, and then being inspired by the instructions of Vritrasur as a disciple, after getting the transcendental knowledge from the Guru, Vritrasur, Indra is actually killing the Guru, killing Vritrasur. So such a very peculiar situation. And we see in the previous verses, when Indra, the previous chapter also, when Indra was fighting with Vritrasur, initially Indra threw the club, and Vritrasur very easily caught that club and threw the club back, and then Indra got fell down from the Airavata. And then he was reluctant to throw his Vajrayudha. So that Vajrayudha represents what? Vajrayudha represents the holy name of Vishnu. Because Vishnu told that Indra that you please approach Dadichi Muni. Dadichi Muni's body is strong because of knowledge, vows and austerities. He said that Dadichi Muni is powerful because of the Narayana Kavacha. But Dadichi Muni's invincible protective covering, known as the Narayana Kavacha, that was only given to Tashta. So Dadichi Muni was powerful because of his austerities and because of the Narayana Kavacha mantra. And he gave the Narayana Kavacha mantra to Twashta, and Twashta taught it to his son Vishwarupa, and you got the Narayana Kavacha from the Vishwarupa. So in the Devata's body became powerful with the Narayana Kavacha mantra. And now Vishnu told the Devatas that you ask Dadichi Muni for his bones. You ask him to die, ask him to give his body, and from his bones you make this weapon, Vajrayudha. So therefore, because Dadichi Muni's body was powerful because of the Narayana Kavacha mantra. Therefore, the bones which were powerful because of the Narayana Kavacha mantra, from that the Vajrayudha was made. So the Vajrayudha represents the power of the holy name of the Lord. So Indra, when his club was easily defeated, he was reluctant to throw the Vajrayudha. He had the Vajrayudha with him, but he didn't have faith in the power of the Vajrayudha. He didn't have faith in the holy name. So sometimes we may have the holy name with us, bead bag with us, but we may not have the faith in the holy names. So then Vritrasur was speaking to Indra to actually to develop faith in that holy names, to develop faith in that Vajrayudha. And then now in this chapter we see, with his thunderbolt, he cut off the hand of Vritrasura. But then when Vritrasur threw the when Vritrasur attacked, then Indra's thunderbolt fell from his hand. When Indra's thunderbolt fell from his hand, Indra became discouraged and he became reluctant to fight. So oftentimes, sometimes we chant the holy name, but then in due course some difficulty happens, then we lose the enthusiasm to again chant the holy names, to again take up the process of bhakti. So then again Vritrasur actually spoke to Indra, inspiring him to fight. So we see that when Indra heard the speech of Vritrasur, Indra was glorifying Vritrasur. You are possessing such a discrimination, and you have achieved such a perfection because you are serving the Lord of the universe, the friend of all beings, with complete concentration. Bhavan atarshin mayam vai Vaishnavim janamohinim. You have crossed the illusory energy of Vishnu, and because of this, you have given up the demoniac mentality and you have attained the position of a Mahapurushatam Gataha, an exalted devotee. And then Indra expressed his surprise. How is it that you are having such an exalted spiritual consciousness? So Indra is astonished because of three reasons. Like for example, suppose one goes to a temple. The deities are open, and then in temple one will be expecting to hear some kirtan or some spiritual knowledge from a sadhu about some detachment or about bhakti, about transcendental knowledge, and about dharma. One will be expecting to hear such things from a sadhu. But suppose you go to a temple and you meet a sadhu, and suppose the sadhu starts singing some Bollywood song or some materialistic song, then one will be completely surprised. Similarly, here, Indra is seeing Vritrasur, and Vritrasur is absolutely in the dress of a demon. And Vritrasur is in the battlefield. But he is completely surprised to hear such a profound discourse on the Bhagavata Dharma from Vritrasur, from a person like Vritrasur who is in the body of a demon. So therefore Indra is astonished. Another reason for his astonishment is that in the battlefield, a person is so much filled with Rajoguna. But he is thinking that although Vritrasur is filled with Rajoguna, he is fighting, but his mind is completely fixed on Lord Vasudeva, whose form is made of Shuddha Sattva, which is above the Sattva Guna. So in order to actually fix one's mind on the Supreme Lord, whose form is on Shuddha Sattva, one should go beyond the Sattva Guna. But here Vritrasur is exhibiting Rajoguna. Rajoguna is fighting, but his mind is fixed on the Shuddha Sattva form of the Lord. That is also a reason for a surprise. Like suppose the prerequisite for a person to become a law minister is that he should have no crime records. But just imagine, suppose a person who has a lot of crime records, but if he becomes a law minister, how much people will be surprised? Or suppose a person who has not even gone to a school, if he becomes an education minister, how much people would be surprised. So similarly, Indra is feeling that, oh, this Vritrasur is filled with Rajoguna, but his mind is fixed on the Shuddha Sattva form of the Lord. So therefore he is surprised. And another reason why Indra was surprised is that sometimes even the demons, they may also become devotees, because Prahlad Maharaj was a great devotee, although he was born in the family of demons. But then Prahlad Maharaj, he got the association of Narada, therefore he became a great devotee. But in the case of Vritrasur, there does not seem to be him getting any association of a devotee. Still, how did he exhibit such a great devotional consciousness? That is another reason for a surprise. Because he was not able to see devotee association in the life of Vritrasur. Because Indra was not aware of the previous life of Vritrasur. So, in this way, Indra is surprised. And Indra spoke that, Yasya Bhaktir Bhagavati Harau Nishreyaseshware Vikridato Mritam Bodau Kim Shudrai Katakodakai. A person who has bhakti to the Supreme Lord, Hari, the Lord of highest auspiciousness, swims in the ocean of nectar. For him, what use is Swarga, which is like the water in small ditches. So when a person is relishing the bhakti rasa, then even the happiness of Swargaloka becomes insignificant. That is why Rupa Goswami says that one of the characteristics of bhakti is that moksha laguta krita. Because of experiencing the superior pleasure of bhakti, one considers even liberation as insignificant. Tandrananda Visheshatma. A person experiences intense concentrated bliss. Sandrananda Visheshatma. So Indra was able to perceive that Vritrasura is actually experiencing a condensed bliss from the performing bhakti. And another thing we see here is that in this particular chapter, Vritrasura was actually encouraging Indra to fight. And he spoke a very beautiful series of verses in this chapter that everybody has a favorable time without worrying about the results. You must fight. Something which Krishna spoke about the Nishkama Karma Yoga, similar thing Vritrasura spoke here to Indra. So in the Sanskrit, a dhatu means a verb. A verb has got two meanings. A verb indicates two meanings, two things. One is the vyapara, another is the phala. Vyapara means action, phala means the result. For example, if you take pach dhatu refers to the vyapara, different actions of cooking. So what are the different actions in cooking? Suppose you take a vessel and then say wash the rice, and then putting the rice into the vessel, and then lighting the stove, and then regularly
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Mataji, are you able to hearing Prabhu, Mataji?
Hare Krishna. Can
Yes,
you hear?
Prabhuji. Yeah, yes, Prabhuji.
So suppose, so I was saying that a verb has two meanings. One is the vyapara and the phala. So in the when you take the pach dhatu, pach means to cook. So it refers to different actions related to cooking. Taking a vessel, washing the water, washing the rice, and then adding water, lighting the stove, stirring it, etc. And then the pach dhatu also refers to the result of cooking. Let us say the result of cooking means what? Cooked food. Vikliti anukula vyaparaha. That is the definition of the pach dhatu. Vikliti means the rice becoming soft. So the pach dhatu refers to the actions of cooking and also the result of the cooked food. Suppose if you take dava dhatu. Dava dhatu means to run. So it refers to the actions related to running. That means lifting one leg and then putting the leg forward and then lifting the previous leg and looking ahead. All these actions are part of the running. So dav dhatu refers to these actions, and dav dhatu also refers to the result of this running. Result of running is what? Suppose you actually cross a certain distance, you travel a certain distance, say 5 kilometers, 1 kilometer, like that, the traversal of the distance. So similarly, every dhatu refers to the vyapara and phala. Vyapara means the action, and also pala refers to the result. When Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, because what Dhritarashtra spoke to Indra was something what Krishna spoke about Nishkama Karma Yoga. And the classic verse about Nishkama Karma Yoga is Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma paleshu kadachana ma karma pala heturbur mate sangas takarmani. So Krishna said that Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma paleshu kadachana. So he says that you have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. So what Krishna is saying is that, so in any dhatu, there are two things, vyapara and phala. So what Krishna is saying is that you have control over only the vyapara part of the dhatu. You don't have control over the phala part of the dhatu. You put your effort to do the vyapara part of the dhatu, but you don't expect the result of that dhatu. Suppose in the case of cooking, you put your full effort about cooking the food nicely, but one should be detached about the result. Sometimes one puts the best effort, but still sometimes the item does not come according to one's expectation. Sometimes a person studies hard for an exam, but the result is not according to expectation. So karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. You have a right to perform your prescribed duty. You perform the action, but be detached from the phala. And that is what Dhritarashtra preached to Indra. Your duty is to fight. Why are you getting depressed? Just because your club has been defeated. Just because your thunderbolt has fallen down. Why are you becoming morose? Again, pick up that thunderbolt and fight with me. See, in my case, my hand itself is cut off. But still, I am fighting with enthusiasm. Now, after this verse, both his hands are cut off. But still, Dhritarashtra fights with enthusiasm. Dhritarashtra, at the same time, Dhritarashtra is not attached to he is not having desire for the results only. Because he is not having the desire to enjoy this world's kingdom. Dhritarashtra is simply performing the vyapara part of the action. The action here is the yudh, that is fighting. But he is not resulted in the phala of fighting. That means he is not interested in the previously in the previous chapter, the previous to previous chapter, Dhritarashtra told that I don't desire the kingdom and the opulences of this world, whereas you are interested in the opulence of this world. So Dhritarashtra is exhibiting by his personal example how he is putting his full effort of fighting, but he is not interested in the phala of fighting. In that way, Dhritarashtra is exemplifying this verse. Karmani eva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. And whereas in the case of Indra, so Indra is becoming morose and depressed to continue putting the effort when he is facing difficulties at every step. So therefore, Bhartrihari in his Niti Shataka, he talks about actually 3 types of determination or 3 types of individuals. Prarabhyate na kalu vigna bayena nichai prarabhya vigna vihata viramanti madhya vignai punarapi pratihanyamana prarabdhamuttama janana parityajanti. So the adama people, the lowest people, they don't start an effort because of fear of the obstacles of the effort. Because of the fear of the obstacles. And the Madhyama people, they start the effort, but when the obstacles come, they stop the effort. But Uttama people, although repeatedly obstacles come, but they never give up the effort, they continue to put the effort. And if we see from this particular verse, Indra comes in the category of Madhyama because he began the effort. He started fighting, but when the first obstacles came, when his club was actually easily defeated, he stopped putting the effort. And when the thunderbolt fell down, again he stopped, he became reluctant to put the effort. So when the obstacle came, Indra actually stopped putting the effort because he was attached to the result. Whereas Vritrasur, despite facing so many obstacles, his own people flew from the battlefield and his first arm was cut off. Now his second arm is cut off, but still he is not becoming lazy in performing his duty of fighting against the Devatas. So therefore, Vritrasura is actually exhibiting the highest kind of determination. So therefore, it is said that in the Agni Purana it is mentioned, Krisher Vrishti Samayogat Kalesyu Palasiddhayoho Sadarmam Paurusham Kuryan Nalaso Nacha Daivavan. When the land has been tilled and sown with the seeds, and when the land which has been tilled which is sown with the seeds, when that land comes in contact with the rain, it leads to the attainment of good crops after some time. So therefore, that means all the good results in our life, they are a combination of effort, because you have to put effort to till the land, and then and you have to put effort to sow the seed, and then you have to wait for the providence to shower the rain, and then you have to, even after the rain showers, then you have to wait for some time. So therefore, any result in our life is a combination of effort, our purushartha, and daiva, and the time factor. All three factors are there. So therefore, one should never become lazy, thinking that everything depends only on the providence. And one should never depend exclusively on one's own effort. One should never become lazy, and also one should never exclusively depend on one's own effort, because apart from our effort, then the daiva factor is there, and the time factor one should also put. One should also keep patience. So in this way, Vritrasura is actually speaking. He not only spoke about the Nishkama Karma Yoga, it personally exemplified this. Hare Krishna. So I'll stop here. If anybody has any questions or anybody wants to share any comments, and share.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so much for a very beautiful class, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. If anybody have any questions or realizations, please raise your hand, unmute yourself, and please go ahead. Yes, Supakar Krishna Prabhu, please go ahead, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Radhika Vallabha, Prabhu. Actually, your class is so detailed and all clarifications, and there's no doubt about it. But I just want to ask one thing: that Vritrasura, though he was a pure devotee, Chitraketu, that just for that small mocking, he had to become a asura, and then though he's a devotee, how he was eating animals and all. So that thing that he has forgotten that he's but in the end he's showing as if he knows that he is a devotee and he is not worried about death and all. So is that when you become a demon by curse, initially you forget and then I could not understand that. In the previous one, they was telling that he used to eat animals and all, blood he drinks and all. So is it that Mattasmita Jnanam Apohanam, so that little thing God reveals, little thing is being forgotten? I'm getting confused.
Yeah, when we read the 17th chapter, 6th canto, Parvati Devi cursing Chitraketu Maharaj. Parvati Devi cursed Chitraketu Maharaj to become a demon. And definitely it is mentioned there. We see that take birth immediately in a sinful family of demons, so that you will not commit such an offense against exalted persons in this world.
Shiva.
So she definitely cursed him to become a demon. So therefore, in accordance with that curse, he was born as a demon, and he was actually exhibiting even the external behavior of a demon, because he accepted that curse. But at the same time, Vritrasur's the Chitraketu Maharaj was in the level of prema, actually, the ninth stage. So a person at the stage of prema is independent of all these change in the bodies. This is a very high devotional siddhanta, just like Krishna is independent. Janmadhyasya yatonvayat itaradas chartesh abhijna swarat. Just like Krishna is independent, Bhakti is also independent. Bhakti is also independent. So therefore, although Chitraketu Maharaj became Vritrasur, and he got the body of a demon, but the Bhakti present in his heart, that was independent of the external change of the body, from the king of the Vidyadhara planets to a demon, actually. Demon with the behavior of a demon. Whether it's he was eating the men or animals or whatever. Yes, definitely it was that. So this cannot be. So therefore, Vritrasur's character, it proves the Siddhanta that Bhakti is independent. But another point is that Vritrasur never justified. Oh, because I am a Bhakta, so therefore all these I am eating these things. These are all. It does not affect me. He never justified his wrong acts based on bhakti. So one should not, sometimes a devotee may perform some wrong activities, and one may try to justify one's wrong activities based on his bhakti. So that Vritrasur never did. So, but Vritrasur's character, it proves the Siddhanta that bhakti is independent.
So bhakti was there on one side. Bhakti.
On the physical platform, he could not avoid the behavior of a demon. But on the consciousness platform, he maintained the pure consciousness. So oftentimes, like for example, in a devotee's life, on a physical platform, he may be helpless. He may not be able to avoid making certain choices. Suppose like Vritrasura, Bhishma, and Akrura, they were devotees, but they were working for the demons. So Akrura had to cooperate with the plans of Kamsa. That's how the Bhagavatam describes. Because he was working for Kamsa, he had to do it. But at the same time, he maintained his pure consciousness. Bhishma, he was actually fighting for the Kauravas, but at the same time, he maintained his pure consciousness. Because of his personal vow, he was fighting for the Kauravas. Here, Vritrasur, because of the curse of being a demon, he was fighting for the demons, fighting against the Devatas. That means fighting against Dharma. But he maintained the consciousness of the Mahabhagavata. So sometimes on a physical platform, we may be helpless, but still we can, but on a consciousness platform, we are not helpless. One can still maintain a pure consciousness. So that is we see from Vritrasura.
So is the same thing, Marichi also same way, that he was with Ravana, but in the mind, he didn't want to.
No, Maricha was not like that. Maricha represents a speculation actually. Maricha thought that instead of getting killed in the hands of Ravana, let me get killed in the hands of Ram. See, it
The good
appears
thought was
that he had a good thought, but actually better to die fighting in the service of Lord Ram than to actually just simply get killed by Lord Ram. Jatayu was fighting for Lord. Jatayu died in the hands of Ravana, but he died while performing service to Ram. But Maricha, because he agreed to obey the orders of Ravana, by that he separated Sita from Ram. So Maricha actually, although it appears to be a noble thought, but actually it's a mental speculation. He thought like.
So the Kumbhakarna also was trying to advise Ravana. Vishnu was totally different. Kumbhakarna also was telling that what you are doing is wrong, that you are not supposed to do that. But still he didn't listen, so he went and fought and died. He was also having some better thought than Ravana. He was also knowing.
He advised, but still he did not follow the Vibhishana way. He just obeyed Ravana fighting. Vibhishana said that because Kumbhakarna, although he advised, but because he was so much in Tamoguna, Rajoguna, but he still fought for Ravana. So sometimes one may have knowledge, but if one's culture is in Rajoguna, Tamoguna, one may have good transcendental knowledge, scriptural knowledge, but if one's lifestyle is in Rajoguna and Tamoguna, one may not be able to make the choice based on the Sattva-guna. Because of the lifestyle being in Rajoguna and Tamoguna, one will continue to make the wrong choice. Kumbhakarna represents that. Kumbhakarna advised Ravana. He had right knowledge, but still his lifestyle was in Rajoguna and Tamoguna. So therefore, he made the wrong choice.
But they are all better person than Ravana actually. Kumbhakarna. Even Marichi also advised, no, don't do that, it's not good, but still he was forced to do. Marichi also tried to tell him that, don't do that activity.
Yeah, but we cannot compare Maricha, Kumbhakarna with Vritrasur. That's what I'm trying
to say. No, they are devotees, correct. That for that matter, Indrajit also, finally he told, no, that we are going to lose only. Everybody knew that he's doing wrong, but they just kept with the father's side.
Nobody took the bold decision to
like
disobey Ravana. Nobody took the bold decision.
Yesterday in one of the Bhakti classes, one devotee told that there are 5 pure devotees of all the demigods. He told Brahma, and he told Chandra, Indra, Surya, then Ganesha and Parvati. So I want to know whether there's any reference for this anywhere in our thing where we will know that they are pure devotees.
I don't know that. Because all these are different forces actually. People keep changing. Sometimes Brahma, in some universe Brahma may be a pure devotee. Some universe Brahma may be a Jnana Mishra Bhakta. Some universe Brahma may be a Karma Mishra Bhakta. So Bhagavatam 11th canto talks about 4 categories of Brahma. One is Karmi Brahma, Jnani Brahma. Another is the Shuddha Bhakta Brahma, but with some material desires, and 4th is the Shuddha Bhakta. Like that, there can be in different universe. It may be differing.
But so Lord Shiva is a pure devotee.
You can ask preferably the devotee only. What is the reference actually?
Okay. Thank you, bro. Thank you very much.
Prabhuji Dandatnam Prabhuji, thank you for the enlightenment class. And Prabhuji, I have some little clarification I want. So Prabhuji, Prahlada Maharaja was, although being born in Asura family, he got enlightenment through the chanting this thing from the womb itself. Like that, I don't know how this Vritrasura demon has been enlightened, had the knowledge of the Supreme Lord. I just want to know, brother. Here is Vritasura is a devotee. It's like a devotee of the Lord. But being a asura, how he was, how the mode, how he because any pastime of Vritasura, it's a demigod. Anything, some
Very
doubts.
good question, actually. Excellent question. In fact, the question which you are asking, exactly the same question is asked by Parishit Maharaj. It shows that your line of thinking is perfectly in line with Parishit Maharaj. That is
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
When we read the 6th canto, 14th chapter, now we are reading the 12th chapter. 14th chapter, Parishit Maharaj is asking the very same question, actually. So, how did Vritrasur exhibit such profound consciousness? So then, Shukdev Goswami, in reply to that, he tells the previous life story of Vritrasur. So that story comes in 14, 15, 16, and 17 in 4 chapters.
Okay,
in the previous life, he was King Chitraketu, and as King Chitraketu, he got the association of Narada Muni, and then he became a great devotee. And how he got the body of a demon, that story is also mentioned in the 6th and 17th chapter.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Any other questions? So we'll end here. Okay. So we'll start.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Anybody having any more questions? Hare Krishna, is there anybody having any more questions for Prabhuji? Okay.
Yeah,
Vardhana Mataji, go ahead, Mataji.
Yeah, if nobody have any questions, we can end the call here, paying obeisances to Prabhuji and all the Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha krupasya bhaktanam pavani His Grace Radhika Vallabha Prabhuji ki jai. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Gauranga, Nityananda.
Hare Krishna.
जय जय श्री राधे श्याम सबको मिले वृंदावन धाम गोवर्धन गिरिराज की जय हो
Hare Bol, closing the call, dear devotees. Hare
Thank you everybody.